This podcast episode is a part of the series Listening to Canberra Voices, produced at the Faculty of Arts and Design at the University of Canberra in 2025. My name is Tate.
And mine's Jess.
And we are students at the University of Canberra, and today we're interviewing our diverse guest, Tico Ameria. Tell us about yourself, Tico. What do you study and what do you like to do on the weekend?
I'm studying digital media at the University of Canberra, and I'm doing a breadth major in film production. And on the weekends, I like to paint. I like to go on bushwalks, hiking, mountain biking, rock climbing, stuff like that.
Awesome. Are you originally from Canberra?
I am not. I'm originally from the Southern Highlands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are the rest of your family, are your parents from there as well?
No, they are not. My dad is from Jaipur in Rajasthan, India. And my mum she was born in Tanzania in Africa, but she's of sort of an Irish, Scottish descent.
Mm-hmm. What careers do your parents have?
So my dad is an artist, and he frames pictures on the side and also hangs pictures in people's houses. So he's very much in the art world. And my mum works in the merchandising section at Bunnings. So she sorts the plants out basically.
Brilliant. Okay. Lots of nature themes in your life. What does your dad paint?
His big thing was Australian botanical painting, so like leaves and Australian native species. But he has since been, wanting to branch away from that.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
Clearly there's a lot of nature surrounding you. Do you think that has had sort of an influence on the visual art that you do?
Yeah, massively. I grew up in the bush pretty much, so spent most of my time, in trees and whatnot. I like to paint landscapes, and they're very much natural landscapes. My mom's, really big into nature and animals and all of that, and dad as well, and so it sort of just seemed natural for me to follow along that similar vein.
Yeah, of course. What you're exposed to will influence that highly. Hey guys, before we really get into the episode, Tate and I just wanted to take a second to quickly give you a bit of background on ourselves, where we're from, what we study, and our creative practices. I'm originally from Canberra. I study a Bachelor of Arts in Culture and Heritage here at UC, and on the side I do a bit of my own painting, I do still lifes, and I have a major interest in the visual arts.
I am originally from Dubbo in regional New South Wales. I study film production, and I have a very passionate love for film. I love to make short films that generally fall into the horror genre, with moments of comedy and action as well. I like a story that takes you by surprise, where you never know what's going to happen. I also love music, different genres of music. I like rap, alternative rock, Rex Orange County.
Oh yeah.
Whatever genre he is, I'm not sure. Bedroom pop.
He's like indie alternative pop. I'm actually going to pipe in and talk about music as well, because I'm a big music lover, but more like alternative R&B, indie rock, and a little bit of electronic music now here and there too.
Do you listen to house?
Yeah, of course.
Party.
Absolutely. Okay. Cool, let's get back into it. Okay, so clearly your family is very artistic. Nature is a huge theme in a lot of your work and your dad's work. Do you have any other family members sort of in a creative industry? Do they have a career that's like highly immersive in nature?
On my mum's side, she has a sister, Sue McCartney Snape, who is a relatively successful artist. She lives in England, so there's definitely that had an influence as well on me, I think. And then on my dad's side, his dad was also very artistic. But yeah, I wouldn't say that art is as nature focused as my dad's.
Yeah.
Or mine.
What does her art consist of?
She likes to do caricatures.
Oh, cool.
Of people, the sort of characters you see in England and New York, and often very wealthy people that sort of have these bizarre looks and.
Yeah, living in the UK would have an impact on her art versus Australia, where you're surrounded by all of this nature.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Do you find that you have similar themes of nature and landscapes and Australian botanicals in the films that you produce?
Not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I think that for films, it's definitely more what best suits the kind of story that I'm wanting to tell. But there are definitely films that I want to make that have a heavy emphasis on nature.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I can say that.
You are currently working on a film that's in post-production, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that has some scenes of you painting, and there's a pot plant involved in the finale. That's correct, right?
No, that's correct, yeah.
Yeah, how do they play into the story and what you're trying to capture there?
Honestly, that film was an excuse to start making something. It was an excuse for me and my brother to just be like, all right, let's do it, as opposed to let's just think about doing it. So really, those elements don't have much significant meaning, and they're just there because they were thought up. Like, they were just like, all right, let's put this in because why not?
Sure.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Cool.
I guess art is, a reflection of your surroundings, no matter how complex or simple.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, for that film, it was sort of like we're on a budget of basically nothing, and so it's using what's available to us, and that is, where we live.
As every broke artist,
Yeah,
no matter
that's right.
what medium. With your art or films, have you produced any exhibitions or commodified from your work in any way?
I've never actually had an exhibition of my own, but I have been in a couple of exhibitions. They were good. I did sell in one of them. It was like a landscape prize. That was in my hometown that was held. I've also sold a couple works outside of high school as well, which was really cool. Yeah, so just small things here and there. Yeah.
Still impressive. With the film and painting, do you have any prospective careers and things that you want to come out of university and those hobbies and things?
I think the dream is to work in filmmaking. Being a director seems like the job that I think I'm best suited for, but we'll see what happens with that. It's a very precarious industry. I think filmmaking is the big one, but I'll always keep painting as a side hobby. And
I think creatives in any way, the mediums overlap in some way. I feel like if you're creative in one way, there's more than one medium that you can be successful in.
yeah, for sure.
Like your dad, for example, painting, framing. So in this journey into discovering, your prospective careers and hobbies through your family's influence, have you found that their diverse backgrounds has had any impact on this journey to finding out your identity, whether negative or positive?
Yeah, I think definitely. I was having a discussion with my girlfriend about this actually, and I was saying to her that having parents that are not from here, they're sort of more citizens of the world than they are of Australia in a way. There's definitely certain values that are held in Australia, and having grown up with parents that aren't so closely related to those values, I think I found that I find a bit of a disconnect with your typical Australian. I find it's hard for me to sit down and talk with blokes at a pub because
Mm-hmm.
I don't really relate to them on any level. But I do find it I find when traveling it's very easy for me to converse with people because I guess I have that experience of having had multiple cultures sort of while I was growing up, and so I sort of can relate to people on that level, I suppose.
I sort of understand the idea of the bloat. It's almost like some Australians try and compensate for not having a rich history in culture, and so they can't, we have this whole new typical Australian bogan culture that has emerged from it. Australia realistically is just a combination of the rest of the world.
That's very true. Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously you did art growing up where you're from before you moved to Canberra. Has moving to Canberra changed the way that you create art in any way?
In regards to my painting, not so much. I guess it's more exposure to different landscapes that, I will probably work into my art. Canberra's surrounded by, lots of very beautiful natural landscape. And I think, and I definitely have painted in response to that. But I don't think it's done anything really major beyond that. But with my filmmaking, I think definitely just because of the people that I've met, and it's sort of opened up a lot of things. It sort of makes you realize, okay, so this is really possible now, when before it wasn't, because I now have access to people who are good at this sort of thing, or that are just as passionate as you are, and so, you know, just things feel more achievable, I guess.
Yeah. And I guess when you're studying it, you're applying yourself to it more full time.
Yeah, definitely.
Than before. Do you find then if you're putting way more effort into the filmmaking, you're putting less into your art, or it's just one of those things that when you feel inspired?
Yeah, definitely one of the things when I feel inspired. I think with the painting, I'll only paint when I really feel like it. I never force myself to, which keeps it as something that I can enjoy doing, as opposed to feeling like I have to do it, which can be the case with studying film. You do feel like you have to do it. And of course it's a career, but I do enjoy it at the same time. Whereas with painting, I feel like I could get a bit tired of constantly doing it.
Yeah, of course. Well, creative burnout is definitely a thing.
Yeah.
I do a little bit of painting myself.
Oh.
So not to just butt in there, but yeah, creative burnout is 100% a thing.
What do you paint?
I sort of do still life imagery with acrylics, but I find that it almost sometimes has like a cartoonistic result just because of the medium.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Before you mentioned that your brother does a little bit of painting too.
No, he's more of a drawer.
A drawer, okay.
I think photography is his real bread and butter. He's really good at photography.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah. Is he older than you, younger?
No, he's younger. He's still in his last year of high school.
And so, yeah, he does a lot of drawing and photography. What does he photograph?
I guess it's similar in the sense that he photographs sort of landscapes in a way. He doesn't seem to do like much portrait photography, but he is very good. He did win a prize for it. And I think, yeah, there are definitely similarities in the subject matter that both of us like to focus on.
Yeah, your whole family just have this love and representation of all the nature around you, I guess.
Yeah.
In all your own unique different ways. Photography, painting, Bunnings.
Yeah.
Organising plants.
Well, Mum's also a very good gardener as well.
Well, someone has to look after and nurture and help the plants for you guys to be able to capture them, hey?
Yeah, that's right.
Would you say that you and your brother bounce off each other in terms of inspiration?
Definitely. We both have like a massive love for film, and we both love the same kind of films. Try and watch every film we can together, because, you know, we love to bounce each other's opinions on those, even though they're generally the same. But then that goes, you know, a step further into like film ideas or, you know, painting or anything. We're always, you know, talking with each other and discussing like what works, what doesn't, and stuff like that.
Have you and your brother ever talked about inspiration or ideas with your mother or father? Do you guys ever come up with ideas together as a family?
Rarely. I think we definitely talk with each other a lot, but often we'll never talk to our parents about it. We'll show them the final product to see what they think. I don't know why, if I'm being completely honest. Do you ever bounce ideas off your family?
No. I used to, but they don't really care that much.
I think with children to parents, from like a creative perspective, there is that the age gap and like the societal gap. Like I feel like when creating, though we, you know, have been living in a similar environment and probably have similar ideals, I feel like the society that we're exposed to day to day then affects like the creative products. And so like I know when I paint sometimes, if I do like still life of like packets of cigarette, my mum is always just like, "You're painting those cigarettes again."
Actually, now that I think about it, with my painting, I definitely do bounce more off my parents. With the filmmaking, barely at all, not at all. With that, there's maybe an element of when you're a kid, you always want to like show your parents something and like have them be proud of you or something. Maybe there's like a lingering element of that still, where you're just like, I want to surprise them and show them that it's something really cool I've made with my brother, or I made at school or something with a film. But with the painting, I think it's often with the outlook that I might be able to sell this piece, and so I get as much input as I can, as much critique, as much of other people's opinions as I possibly can, just so I can improve it.
So if you talk to your parents in the production of these things, does your mum have much of an input versus your dad, or is it
I'd say my mum.
perspective?
I'd say my mum has more of an input than my dad.
Yeah.
Because she did study art in university.
Brilliant.
And she has a very, very good eye for art, and a very good eye for what does work and what doesn't work. And she'll have valid reasons for them as well, which is why I think I seek out her opinion on things. But then equally my dad as well, because he has all the technical know-how, and that really can be very helpful.
Did she study it in Africa where she's from?
No, she moved from Africa when she was very young, maybe like 4, and then came to live here. But she's traveled the world and spent decades outside of Australia, and she actually studied at ANU.
Oh wow, in Canberra.
Yeah, in Canberra.
Do you find then, if your mum has like that artistic eye, is she constructive in talking about film projects? What do your mum and dad think about your studies in film, and what, like, have you told them you want to be a director?
Yeah. They're all very much in the know. And I show them all of our projects and things that we do at uni and whatnot. They're always very supportive. And again, they do help. They do add their insights and what they thought worked, what didn't. With art, I think we have a very similar taste, where film, it sort of deviates a bit, and it's sort of, the taste is a bit different. Oftentimes it'll be like, that was good, but it wasn't really to my taste. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Whereas with art, it definitely feels a lot more like it's, yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. I feel like with film, there's a lot more content than just like one piece of art.
Yeah, it tends to be generally a more visceral medium.
Yeah.
For sure.
Massively.
Yeah.
So when you finish university, where do you plan to take your skills?
Well, the first step is to travel, get as much worldly experience as I can, and then come back and try and start making films in any capacity, in any role, sort of get my foot in the door.
And where do you think that will be geographically?
I have no idea.
It sounds like your parents have been all around the world and are from all different places. Do you know how they came about to end up in Canberra?
We don't actually live in Canberra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we still live in the Southern Highlands, but I'm just here for
Or in
university.
Australia.
Well, I think my mum moved to Australia when she was young because of, Africa didn't really work out. And so they thought, okay, well, let's move to Australia. And they came to Australia and lived here ever since. My mum went to India and was working in a furniture factory. And my dad was doing the designs. And that's how they met. And then they came back here. I think for my dad, it was just something new. It was a more opportunity maybe. And yeah, been here ever since.
For university at the University of Canberra.
Well, thanks for the interview, Tico. That was very insightful. I feel like, that was a very interesting look into how someone's background or family can influence the way that they create and the way that they can influence the people and places where they end up.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we invite you, the audience, to think about your culture and make some art.
All right. Well, thanks, Tico, for joining us. We really enjoyed learning all about you and your family, where they've come from, what they create, what influences you guys. We love having you in Canberra as, diverse voice to add to the culture here. So thank you.
Thank you.